Welcome back to this third video of my discussions about sustainability. It will concern the question, should universities be autonomous from society, or should it be an integral part supporting the society in its daily politics? I share here the slide showing the structural conditions that we are living under. But I would like to start by saying that an auditor cannot be part of the system it is auditing, since then the audit will be a function of the auditor. Thus, auditors have to be independent. Is that the same for universities, that in order to study society, the researcher cannot be part of it? The auditor's report is used by the stakeholders since they can trust that the report is not made in order to satisfy any stakeholder, not even the auditor, but is there only to satisfy the trust in the accounting information. Thus, the researcher's report can be trusted by and in society as long as the researcher has not been part of society and do not have an interest in the produced knowledge as such. The auditor is asked by the stakeholders, especially the financial stakeholders, to audit the economic system of the corporation to be able to say if the financial reports are trustworthy and reveals a true and fair view of the economics of the corporation. The auditor is not free to audit what is in the interest of the auditor, but what is in the interest of the stakeholders. That is the difference. The auditor has an assignment to audit the financial report and is being paid, strangely enough, by the organization that is audited and not the stakeholders that enjoy the audit. By the same extent, researchers are paid by foundations, by corporations, by organizations, and especially by the government to produce research. But researchers, to the extent they enjoy the academic freedom that is called Freiheit der Wissenschaft, have the freedom to select their research objects and methods. This combination of financing conditions and a condition of academic freedom constitutes a structural stress that Wiesenburg has stressed. The stress between academic freedom and expectation, regulations, financing conditions towards specific research objects. Scientific researchers could keep their autonomy, as the auditor is doing, but within the assignment to create knowledge that is needed not by the researchers, but by society. Thus, academic freedom and autonomy is not the same. Given an assignment to perform research about sustainability, which is violence of Freiheit der Wissenschaft, in the sense of selecting the subject, the researcher can thereafter enjoy Freiheit der Wissenschaft through selecting the appropriate method and to publish results, whatever these are. Now, should a researcher create knowledge about society or for society? In many cases, the researcher has got the education by government or by private schools to become a researcher. Do not those financiers have the right to demand something in return, that is, knowledge for society? Well, the very problem with knowledge for society is the question, who is society? What interest of all the diverse interests existing in society should be the guide, should be das Führer for knowledge creation? Could the democracy that most of us believe in be the guide? If the parliament decide about the wanted research orientation, and we have all the reason to believe that the parliament decision is a balanced interest expression, then we, the academics, have to accept it as a guide for our research. That sounds reasonable. Now take a look at the Swedish Higher Education Act, Section 5, in the first chapter. I cite, the university must in its activities promote apartheid, which means that every present and future racial group is assured of an ethnic and racial good environment which promotes the different races. End of citation. Would you accept to do research directed by the idea of apartheid with the argument that it is the Swedish law? It has been decided through democracy, and therefore the Swedish society's expectation on your research that they finance through taxpayers' money directed to your university. Many, if not the dominating majority of the Swedish researchers, would say no. Or they would use even stronger words in turning their back to this legislation. Luckily for the dominating majority of the researchers, my citation is fake. It is not correct. But unluckily, it has some truth, because the correct citation with my English translation, and I'm sorry for that one, is, and I cite, in their activities, universities must promote sustainable development, which means that current and future generations are assured of a healthy and good environment, economic and social welfare and justice. This is the Higher Education Act, Section 5. If its main in their activities mean research, then researchers in Sweden, in order to obey the law, have to study sustainability. I would have to study how the power structures of the corporations influence their sustainability actions and performance, and not what I really study. I do not obey the Swedish law. I have made that clear. But I obey the professional norm of academic freedom. Therefore, I have indeed studied sustainability issues. And I have these references. Collin 96, Tages of Blank, Broberg, Collin, Broberg, Tages of Collin, Collin, 2018. But I did this because of it is a subject of interest in my scientific subject, not because it is a law or that society have expectations that I perform such research. If society, if organizations and interest groups want any research, they cannot command it, but can offer research opportunities where autonomous academics, following the professional norm of academic freedom, evaluate the proposal and find out if it is in the interest of their subject to perform such research. Thus, academic freedom, which is Freiheit der Wissenschaft, the right of a researcher to freely choose object and methods of research, is a professional norm that overrides the laws of society. So, ultimately, society have to trust the academics to be, and now I cite, the impartial guardian and promoter of social critique, providing all sides and parties with the material that fundamental political critique is made of. That is my conclusion.